Okay. Thank you very much, Rachel, for giving me this opportunity to be on this webinar of how we are using the Atlas of MS for change. Hello, everyone. My name is Renuka Malakar. I am the Honorary National Secretary of Multiple Sclerosis Society of India. It was very inspiring to hear the change that MS Ireland and Aoife's story on neurologists, but I want to tell you a little bit about what we plan in the coming weeks and how we are going to be using the Atlas. And I'm very hopeful that there will be some change. So let me start with a little bit of a background on our upcoming campaign, which is the second advocacy campaign called Numbers Matter. A little bit of a background for some of you who don't know much about India. Just to let you know that there is no large-scale study on incidence and prevalence of MS in India. Neither is there any provision for a national registry of MS at the country level. Then there is this problem of lack of awareness between many stakeholders, amongst the stakeholders which include the general public, healthcare professionals, and even policymakers. And another fact that I'm going to tell you, which is really startling, is that in India, we have only 1,500 neurologists in a population of 1.39 billion. So I think as per the Atlas, it is somewhere around 0.1% in 100,000. So it's as little as that. And you know, with all of these problems, we believe, and of course, lack of data, we believe anything which does not have data will lead to weaker policies. And our campaign, MS Matters, aims to, shine the spotlight on this issue and communicate how important data is. With no comprehensive data on MS, many MS people will get left behind, are getting left behind in accessing benefits and resources that are designed for them. So what did we do? It is actually because of these reasons that we have thought about our advocacy campaign, Numbers Matter. So how did we go about? Let me give you a little bit of an insight. During the COVID in India, we saw the India map going from green to red to orange to red, where they were populating the hot spots of COVID spread. And when we saw that, we came up with an idea that if COVID is being mapped and we can see hotspots growing across the country, why can't we apply something like this to launch a sort of a map, which we call the India MS map. And this particular map is about crowdsourcing prevalence information, which people with MS living in the country will start feeding into. We are asking them to put some very basic information like age, gender, where they come from, are they on treatment for MS, are they visiting government hospitals or going to private hospitals? We then decided to put together a rapid survey, and we also heard from the government that they are launching a government hospital-based national registry in a very few hospitals to map the prevalence of MS. So in our survey, and when we kind of launched this India MS map, about 80% of our respondents said that they don't go to government hospitals. And so it immediately got us thinking, how are we going to address this gap of people not going to government hospitals, and at the same time, the country starting a government hospital-based registry? You would be leaving out a lot of people in the mapping of prevalence. So this crowdsourced prevalence map is actually going to be very, very powerful for us, because it will help us to communicate to our stakeholders as well as the government on the relevance and importance of how data is causing all kinds of barriers in accessing information, treatment, and even policies that are made for people with MS. It will also help us to provide evidence to the government that there are many more people living with MS in India beyond the 8 chapters that we work in and those few government hospital-based registry. It means that we have a lot more people. So we feel that the map of MS is going to be a powerful way to engage with the government where we provide them evidence. But when you start something like this, you also need some baseline information. It didn't take us very long to figure that out because we have the Atlas of MS. Let me tell you that this is not going to be the first time that we will be using figures from the Atlas of MS. In fact, the Atlas of MS has some very interesting inputs, and way back about 3 years ago, when we had a sensitization workshop with government officials, disability commissioners, and doctors, we were able to show them that there are 2.3 million people living with MS globally at that time. We will be able to use the data now, which shows an increase globally in many different ways. We will be able to compare the prevalence of MS across the different countries that we work with. We will also be able to draw some information from the Atlas and compare information and data with those countries that have similar issues like India and see how they are overcoming it. What are the ways they have engaged in bringing positive change either to policy or initiate research. And finally, one of the important things that we will really be able to showcase through the data in the Atlas is MS is on the rise globally, and India, with such a large population, cannot be an exception. So they have to think on those lines. And finally, I think with our campaign, with the India MS map, with the Atlas of MS figures and data that we have, we will be able to communicate very effectively in a focused manner with the policymakers that absence of data can cause barriers in access to policies, access to treatment, initiating research, as well as, and most importantly, access to affordable treatment. We are very, very excited because we're going to be launching this very soon in a couple of weeks. We need everybody's good wishes, and going with the positive change that I heard in Ireland, I hope we can bring some change. I couldn't be more thankful to MSIF for putting this together. The information there is just the tip of the iceberg. It's about time we start delving deep into it and pulling information that it can be adapted to our country. I hope I have been able to tell you all the excitement that is happening here. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you very much. It's back to you, Rachel.